Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Remind you, all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, our official website, thestephennightshow.com. You can also watch us on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, and tell us what you think. We have the lovely Cleopatra joining us today as our guest co-host, and thank you again for your time. All right, so Lil Mama dropped a message from her heart to her personal Instagram on Sunday. The artist decided to comment on women tapping into their sexy side for the gram, and other social media platforms. But her post didn't speak on women in general. Lil Mama actually singled out Black women. It's so funny, so many Black women bent over on social media, you would think it was mass mandated, she wrote. She added a face palm emoji, for extra emphasis on her disappointment in social media behavior. Mama decided to zero on the lack of regular activities versus the hefty amount of body looking good posts. I get it. You're grown every day, though. She said, every day, though? Pretty much, asking you every day. What day are you classy? She questioned. Just hanging out with the family, actually working out. She went on to saying Black women tapping into sexy as often as is very embarrassing to her. Her distaste for women doing it for social media comes just weeks after receiving forgiveness for one of the long-lasting embarrassment moments she had in the music industry. If you remember when she jumped on stage with Alicia Keys and Jay-Z at the 2009 VMA performance. Do you think she has a point? I'll ask you, Cleopatra.
I don't think she has a point. And the reason why I say this is because I think Black women on the whole get criticized for doing things that every other race of women do. So if you go on Instagram right now and you just go on the Explore and you just see all the pictures, like there'll be so many pictures of women, having sexy poses or wearing skin clad clothes. And there's plenty of likes around that. I mean, you can look at the Kardashians as a prime example of doing that type of behavior, and then everyone praises them. But when Black women do it, somehow it's ratchet or it's ghetto or it looks crazy, right? And so I think it's being overly critical of Black women. If you decide that's what you want to do, live your life, it's your life, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of worrying about what other people are doing on Instagram.
Do you think her comment would have probably been perceived better if she talked about women in general? Or do you think that she should have just kept her mouth closed altogether?
Just keep your mouth closed. Like, you're Lil Mama, do what you're doing, right? Don't worry about what other people are doing and don't criticize what other people are doing.
Mm-hmm. Chike, what are your thoughts on this?
I concur. I think that her opinion is her opinion and she's entitled to her opinion. But this is where we are now in society. People are hypersexualized. Mm-hmm. Live and let live. What you do on your Instagram and your social media is your business. Some people have made a business out of being sexy. Who am I to critique that and to shame you? She's sex shaming. That's a new thing. She's sex shaming.
Yeah, I say cautious of this because I'm not a woman and I don't want women attacking me. but I do kind of see where she's coming from. But again, people have the right to do what they want to do. They're grown.
That's for Nana or your auntie or your mom to say. Little Mama, right. Don't do that.
Yeah,
especially she's a celebrity. Don't do that.
But the beautiful thing about social media is you get to follow and unfollow who you please. So if you don't want to see it, move on. But yeah, all right. I think she had good intentions, but it just never quite.
Another stunt that just quite didn't work out.
Exactly. All right. Well, according to reports, Lynia King, she's a Virginia parent who threatened to bring loaded guns to schools because of the mask mandates that have been charged. This is in Virginia. Laura Police Department announced on Friday that King was charged with making an oral threat while on school property. She has been released on $5,000 unsecured bond, according to CBS News. King has since apologized to the school district and stated that she wasn't speaking of actual guns. I in no way meant implying all guns loaded as an actual firearms, but rather all resources I can muster to make sure that my child can attend school without mask. She said in the email. I would have never do such a thing. I was speaking figuratively. She has a good attorney, I'll say that. So as previously reported, she showed up to the school board meeting and stated, "My children will not come to school on Monday with a mask on. That's not happening. I will bring every single gun loaded and ready to go. I will call every single gun loaded." Then she said, as the mic cut off, "See you Monday."
Mm.
Okay. A joint statement from the Page County School Superintendent Antonia Fox and School Board Chair Megan Gorman was released and read, "Not only do comments such as these go against everything we wish to model for our students, they go against the very nature of how we as a community should interact with each other." Now, since these mandates, mask mandates have been happening throughout the country, the numbers of threats on school board officials, and even principals and things like that has increased significantly. Do you think, Chike, the $5,000 unsecured bond was a good enough, temporary punishment for her? And a lot of people think because she was a white woman, she got a slap on the hand, where if it would have been someone black, it could have been a lot worse. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, we have to start somewhere, right? So yeah, for now, but I agree. If she had been a woman of color, it'd have been different, but we have to start somewhere. I think that we're going to see a change in how people treat things like this. And it's going to be in connection to what's going on, what happened at the Capitol last year. So it's going to be a trend that follows. I think that after this is said and done and the punishments get delved out about these type of threats and this type of behavior surrounding politicalness, I think that in the future, things will be harsher. Just my opinion.
Cleopatra, what are your thoughts on this parent and her comments and the punishment so far?
Yeah, I think her comments are actually crazy, given the fact that, we do live under a threat where school shootings are a real viable thing. Little kids, I don't know if you have any little cousins or children, but they do shooting drills.
Yep.
And that's their reality, right? So for her to say that is really crazy. I think that's number one. Number two, I mean, her punishment, it was okay, but it's definitely not, I wouldn't consider it very harsh, right? And then I think just given the way we are as a country, I live in New York. I think all across the country, wherever you are, it really depends on the political leaning of that place as to how serious they're going to take anything, right? So in New York, that would totally not fly. Her kids, they might be suspended. It would be a huge issue because here people take mask mandates, vaccinations, all of that extremely serious as like a whole culture and society. Whereas, I go back home quite often to Florida and, no one's wearing any mask at all. Like as soon as you get out of the airport, no mask. So it's a completely different society and different culture and the way people view things. And if someone said, first of all, I don't think a mask mandate in Florida would even happen, right? But even if it did happen, they wouldn't go for it. They would be like, no. And if a parent said, oh, well, then it's going to be a problem. If you make my kid wear a mask, no one would give them any real punishment. So I really think it depends on straight up on location, like literally the city, the school district that you're in, how the other parents think about it is how they decide to move.
I agree. And this, I was watching the news this evening, Chike, and these mask mandates or even lack of mask mandates have caused parents to clash with each other within the school districts. What do you think about this woman, and what do you think about the broader picture when it comes to mask mandates and trying to keep teachers, staff, and the students safe?
So I don't have any children, but I would think about it in terms of a lot of parents need their children to go to school so they can go to work. You have to go to work so you can earn a living to take care of your family. My child personally would be wearing a mask. What the hell? There is a pandemic happening. Wear the damn mask. This is my opinion. People get up in a bunch. Is it because you don't want to be told what to do? Is it because of the mandate part of it? I don't get it. Why wouldn't you want your child to be safe? And not only would you not want your child to be safe, you want to protect the other children that are around your child. Not just protect your child, but you want to protect the other children around your child. And you want to protect the teachers because you need the teachers so that the children have a place to go so you can go to work. One hand feeds the other. It's like a chain link.
Mm-hmm.
We're all in this together.
Yeah.
That's just how I see it. It's
With
called society for a reason.
Mm-hmm. And with the Omicron variants, I was talking to a therapist, I think last week, and we were saying how it went from knowing maybe one or two people that may have COVID. So now I know so many people have had COVID. I mean, I know so many people have COVID. You know, one of my friends just called me the other day. I survived a Marion. You know, I mean, it's not funny, but you know,
it's not like funny.
It's just I find so many people are catching COVID, and
I swear from Thanksgiving to now, it just it seems like when you light a match to gasoline, that's how fast it was spreading.
And kids cannot get vaccinated at what up there what I forgot the age range, but I know young kids cannot get vaccinated, and you're seeing those hospitalizations go up. You know, unfortunately, but I do agree with you, Cleopatra, based on where you are in the country. Our last story is a sad one. I usually like to end on an upbeat story, but this one I definitely want to give cause to. Well, you know, we're all deeply sad to report the passing of Regina King's son, Ian Alexander Jr., who died by suicide just days after his 26th birthday. Now, news initially reported by B. Scott was confirmed by Regina in a statement to People. She said, "Our family is devastated at the deepest level of loss of Ian, excuse me. He is such a bright light who cared so deeply about happiness for others. Our family has asked for respectful consideration during this private time. Thank you." Now, he was her only child, and she often spoke very highly of him, his immense talent, and her unconditional love for him. So you don't know what unconditional love is, she stated previously. You may say you do, but if you don't have a child, you don't know what it is. When you're experiencing it, it's the most fulfilling thing ever. Now, details are still, or scarce. We'll try to keep you all updated as we respect their privacy. A lot of people said that his career was about to take off. You know, he had his hands in a lot of different things, and everyone spoke so highly of him. So I just thought about it. I saw the Saturday night, I was about to go to bed, and I couldn't even go to sleep because I could only imagine what she may be going through. You know what I mean? And Cleopatra, you know, what are your thoughts when you heard this news?
Yeah, I think it brings up an important point on mental health and wellness. You know, oftentimes, especially within the Black community, it's not something that we talk about, particularly amongst men, but everyone should really be in consideration of their mental health and seek therapists if they're feeling, depressed, and really seek help. It is unfortunate that happened, and, my prayers certainly go out to her.
Absolutely. Chike.
You know, as an artist, Regina King's she's up there for me. You know, I really revere her. And, in doing these movie reviews, part of my process is after watching a film, I'll listen to interviews of the people that were in such films. And I was on Regina King hard probably for a month, listening to her interviews, and one common thread in all of her interviews was that she really, really loved her son. And that was like her foundation and her rock. And not making light of the fact that a mother lost their child, but during this time in her life, like she's having the greatest recognition of her art that she has ever had. Like we always knew who Regina King was. The world is just discovering who she is. And for this to happen during this time, it's just like I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of support for her, at least on social media. So I'm hoping she feels that, and she has that, that spirit and that love around her. We also lost some over the break. I'll just name a few people we lost. Some greats: Sidney Poitier, Bob Saget, Meatloaf, Louis Anderson, Andre Leon Talley, John Madden, Ronnie Spector, And that's just a few. You know, I was looking up some of the names so I could talk about them.
You can't forget my boo, Betty White.
Betty White. Oh, Betty White was on here.
Hey.
Betty White, yes. And well, Betty White, she was just about to turn 100, you know, and they had this fanfare, interviews done, tributes, and she, you know, she didn't make it to 100, but she had a long, successful career. And there's a documentary on Netflix. You know, there's this Black, he was an artist, and he just respected her because she put him on her show. She had one of the first, as a female, talk shows, and she put him on there. And in the South, they threatened to boycott her. She said, "Well, they just need to turn the channel," you know. And she had him perform.
Yeah, she got a lot of flack for that.
She
got
did.
A lot of flack for that.
And but you know, all these greats that we lost. You know, I went to look up some of the big names that we could talk about, and I didn't realize, you know, this is January 24th. We've lost over 43 celebrities already this year. So time is of the essence. We don't know what's going to happen. Just briefly before we go, what are your all's thoughts on the losses of these giants? I'll go with you, Chike.
Well, you know me. I'm an art kid. Every last one of these people in some way or fashion has touched my life in an artistic way. And the greatest thing that all of them have given was inspiration. And I say it plenty time, you know, as much as I can give homage to people, I'm in this, why I'm here, why you see me now is because I'm a fan first.
Most definitely. Cleopatra.
Yeah, so my thoughts and prayers obviously go out to their families, and just like Chike said, you know, they are inspiration, and we hope that we can do them justice in living, you know, building on the legacy that they've already built for us.
Yes, most definitely. And job well done. And thank you all for your contributions to our society. We appreciate you. All right, well, Cleopatra, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. I had such a good time.
Well, listen, when we come back, our interview with rising superstar, songwriter, Mariah, right back after this.